February, February, February. So, okay, February wasn't horrible, but it also just, I don't know, it just wasn't good. So, yeah, we'll recap February and then we will go get into our March goals, our March budget, and kind of see how that all looks. So, anyways, if you're new here, my name is Mishra, and on my channel, we talk about all things budgeting and personal finance, and I take you along my debt-free journey, the good and the inevitable bad. And this month, there was definitely some bad, but I'll get into that in my debt update video, probably like next week. But yeah, so let's get into our February goals. Okay, so I have my trusty computer here because I did my goals in Notion last month, so I'm just gonna keep this here so that I can reference it. So our February goals were broken into 3 different categories: personal, social media, and finance. Okay, so first with our February goals in the personal section. So my goal for 2023 is to read more fiction books because I normally do some self-development, that type of stuff, but I wanted to kind of do something that would take my mind off of like work. So my goal was to read 2 fiction books. And so I recorded my January reset or February reset at the very end of January, but between filming that and February actually starting, I read a whole extra book. So this month I was actually able to read, how many books is it? 4 books. So there's still a couple more days in February. I'm almost done my last book, but yeah, I was able to read 4 books. So that's pretty good. So I definitely can check off that. When it comes to maintaining healthy habits, overall, I think I've done better, but I haven't really done great because one of the ones is going to bed on time, and I have really not been that good with that. And then because of that, I've been like super tired in the morning. So I'm not gonna check that one off, even though I have been doing better. Okay, get blood work done. So, did I get the blood work done? Yes, I did. I actually did it this morning because I was like, oh my gosh, February's almost over. I made this my goal. Honestly, all I had to do was wake up like early. I went there. There was no line. There was nothing. Like, there's literally no reason why I should have been waiting since October to get my blood work done. So anyways, we can check that off. So that's it for our personal goals. So if we go on to social media, so I wanted to post once per week, and I definitely did do that. So that's good. And then I wanted to brainstorm new video ideas. So I did not do that. I'm not going to cross it off, but I do plan on doing that before the end of the month. So there's still like 3 or 4 days before the end of February, and I do want to do that. So post 4 YouTube shorts. So I did do that. And so, the goal is hopefully, in doing some of these things and being consistent, I can start to grow my subscribers, which I did grow subscribers in the month of February. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I feel like I definitely could do better, even though I know that's not necessarily fully in my control. And then, okay, so we'll move on to financials. So, continue contributing to our RESP. So it's a Registered Education Savings Plan for our kids for school. I did do that, so we can check that. So $300 in additional side income. So I actually did do this. And so when I just kind of do my budget breakdown a little for February, or my recap, you'll see exactly how much I did. But I did do this. And it was really like in the last week, like that additional funds is actually going to be deposited today. Spend less eating out and cook more at home. This we definitely did not do. So we spent less on groceries, but it's because we spent a little bit more eating out. And honestly, it's very detrimental. like we got 3 things, used Uber Eats, and it ended up coming to almost $50. Like, literally, we got Subway, and Subway is like a 5-minute drive from my house. Like, I definitely could have went. So we're definitely not great with that. So we have to fix that. And then put additional money on debt. So I was not able to do that. We'll go into that a little bit more when I do my debt update or my debt confession update. But yeah, I was not able to do that, unfortunately. But you know, there's always next month. So that was basically a recap of our goals. Okay, so for our March goals, for personal, I'm gonna read 3 fiction books, because obviously I've been able to read a bit more than I thought. So I'm gonna read 3 fiction books. Honestly, I think my goals are basically going to be very similar. Maintain healthy habits. And I think that's all I'm going to do when it comes to personal goals. So one thing that I did think about doing is, like, I don't exercise or anything like that. And so at my work, if you have a gym membership and you go a certain amount of times for the year, they reimburse you. So I'm like, that potentially could be free down the line, but I don't really know if I'll actually go. So we're not going to do that. So I think that's pretty good just for my personal goals. And then for social media goals, like, the ultimate goal is to obviously grow my subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed already, now would be the perfect time. Come along for the journey. So yeah, so I want to continue posting once a week. I think I've been doing pretty good with that. And what I generally do is, like, I film on Sunday, I post on Friday. And then sometimes if I don't film on Sunday, I might just film on like Friday morning and still post on Friday. I don't know if posting on Friday is a good day or not, but that's just what I'm gonna do. And then again, I want to post 4 YouTube shorts. So that's basically posting a YouTube short once per week. And then brainstorming video ideas. I guess it's always a good thing to do. Another thing that I want to do is content planning. So I saw a video from a YouTuber. I'll put her name. I think her name is Brielle. And she has a whole Notion set up for her content planning. And I love how it's executed. I love, love, love. So I normally use Notion on my phone, and I just started using it on my computer. So if I can kind of build something similar to that, then I would be really happy with that, because it's just a really organized way to plan your content. So that's another thing that I want to try and do. So with Notion. And then down to financial. So I guess the goal is always to earn extra income. So I want to continue contributing to the RESP, which I'm pretty sure I'll do because I have it set up automatically. Additional side income. So I would actually like to bring in, I have 300 here, but if I could bring in $500, that would be great. That would actually be amazing. And then spend less eating out, cook at home. That's always the goal. I don't know, I always think about meal planning, and if you have any ideas when it comes to meal planning or saving on food or groceries, you can comment them below, because I welcome the advice. But yeah, that's always, it's like our worst category, I guess. So yeah, that's it. So basically those are the 3 categories, and these are our March goals. Everything was pretty much equal on our 9 to 5 income. We did bring in about $300 less than was budgeted, but that's okay. Our Canada Child benefit, that was the same. And then so for side income, for the bookkeeping side, I actually was able to bring in, I had budgeted $1,300, and I was actually able to bring in $2,000 by the end of February. So that's pretty good. And then for financial services, I didn't really have any activity, but I did get $50, and that's just passive income. So that was it. So overall, not too bad. I was able to generate extra income. So I had aimed at 300, but I actually was able to get $700 extra. So that's basically how our income went. And then for our expenses, our bills mostly. So there's just a couple categories that we went over. So our electricity, I guess, I had budgeted 160, but it ended up being $267. So that's $107 extra. And then our cell phone bill, I had budgeted 275, but it ended up being 330. So overall, we went about $167 over in our bills. And so when it comes to our variable spending, so there's a couple of things that kind of came up in the month of February that were not budgeted for. And you know, because we're going on our debt-free journey and we don't use our credit cards or we don't have access to some of the credit that we used to have, everything that we do has to basically be cash. And so that's what makes things a little bit harder. So even though I might have earned some extra money, I'm definitely starting to feel kind of like the pinch of, you know, working reduced hours, not having the same income that we're normally used to, and with like groceries and all of that stuff. So for groceries and dining out, we budgeted $700. And so we spent basically close to that. We might have went a little bit over, definitely in the dining out category. Instead of $100, we spent closer probably to like 260. So that's definitely over. But in our grocery side, in $600, you probably spent closer to like 500. Fuel, that wasn't really a concern. And so the other category, so these are basically some miscellaneous items that came up in the month of February that were not budgeted for. So one being the dentist. So I went to the dentist. It didn't cost me anything. And honestly, I don't care about going to the dentist in general. I don't have a fear of the dentist, not like that. What I don't like, even though I have coverage, sometimes I go and it's like nothing. I don't pay anything. And then sometimes I go and they're just like, I don't know, pay whatever. So anyways, my daughter went to the dentist. And so after, they were like, oh, that'll be $194. And I was like, what? So, you know, normally I probably would have just put that on my credit card, but I don't have a credit card to put anything on. So, yeah, so I had to pay that cash. And then another thing that came up was, so in this season, I prepare personal tax returns. And so I had to buy the software. And so the software that I use, it costs $225. So also, again, I probably would have put that on a credit card before, but I'm not doing that now. So I had to pay for that out of pocket also. Granted, I made extra side income, so that kind of offsets that, but it was still something that I had to pay out of pocket for on top of everything else. And so that was that. And then the final thing, birthdays. So my stepdaughter ended up coming back and staying with us, and so she's turning 18 next weekend. So we decided to have a little brunch for her with with our side of the family. And so there was that. Then my daughter has a birthday party, another one that she's going to, so I had to buy a gift for that. And then my other daughter, her birthday, like my two kids, their birthdays are on March 3rd and March 4th. So her birthday is coming up in the next week or so. So I had to get a gift for that too. So I didn't really budget that for February, and I guess I should have, even though I do have like a miscellaneous category. So that came to approximately $200 of extra money spent. So yeah, even though I made extra money on the side, you know, we've gone over in some of our categories in our bills, and we also had these miscellaneous expenses that came up. And because traditionally I probably would have put it on a credit card, you know, back in those days, but we're not doing that now. So I had to pay out of pocket for that. So basically that's how February went. So February wasn't horrible. We did make extra income, and that only came though at the very end. So like one of the deposits will be today of like $1,000. So it's not like we had all the extra income during the month to work with. It just kind of came at the end, but I'll still use it to pay, our bills for this month and whatnot. So ideally, when we get to a point where our side income is just literally side income and it can just kind of stay to the side doing what it needs to do, that will be the eventual goal. So now for our March budget. So honestly, March, there's not going to be too much difference in March. So our income, we're expecting to be $6,046. It's a little bit more than last month. Our Canada Child Benefit is going to be the same. And I will say though, I started preparing my taxes, and so this amount is going to increase in July. I'm not exactly sure by how much yet because I haven't completed my tax return, but that amount is going to go up and it will probably be a couple $100s, so that's good. So bookkeeping, I'm budgeting $1,000, so that's kind of regular. In the financial service category, I'm also going to include the tax preparation. So I wanted to bring in $500 of extra income, but I'm just going to budget $200 because I don't really know exactly how that will work out. Like if in the month I'll bring in, like how much I'll end up bringing in the month of March, because it could be stretched between March and April. So let's move down to our bills. Nothing too different here. Our water, I think, is $55. Our utilities, $270. Yeah, because last month I think I budgeted $160, but it ended up being $267. So now I'm actually going to budget $270 just to kind of, hopefully it's a lot less than that now that we're coming into the warmer months, but we'll see. My rent is $2,422, and our parking for where we live is $80. So that's pretty regular. Our bells, this is our internet, is $113. It's up from being $108. Insurance for our family is $300, and subs. So my American Express, all of my subscriptions just automatically come off of there. So that is $175 that I budget. I know that seems kind of high. So that includes like Netflix, Dropbox, QuickBooks, which is a big one. That's around $100 just on its own. Spotify, like those type of things. And then State Farm. So that is our car insurance. So right now it's pretty low. Eventually, when we get a second car, that will definitely increase. But we don't know when that's happening, so that will just be in the future. And then TELUS, I'm budgeting $275 because that's our regular, that's generally what it is. I know last month it was a little bit more, but that's because of long distance charges, because we don't have long distance to the US. And we just have to keep remembering that we need to use like WhatsApp or something to call if we're calling the US. On to our debt section. And so you'll notice something a little different. For our Nissan, normally we budget $500, but for March, we're not budgeting anything. So there will not be a payment towards our car. I'll explain that a little bit more in the debt video. Our credit card, so the minimum payment is $175 because I still do have 2 credit cards. And then American Express, the minimum payment is $20. So that's on top of just the subscriptions. And then we have our consolidation loan. So one is $473 and the other is $740. Go over to our investments. So again, I contribute to my group RSP at work. That's all I'm doing for now. I'm not really doing any additional investing. $186. It automatically gets taken off my pay and my employer matches it on a monthly basis. And then RESP is the Registered Education Savings Plan, and that's $75 that we contribute each month. So now is the fun part, the variable expenses. So yeah, we're gonna keep groceries at $600 and dining out at $100. So dining out at $100 could mean that we eat out twice for the month. And I think I just have to kind of remember that, like if we've already eaten out twice, or we've spent the $100, then we just need to make sure that we're making food at home. Fuel, I think we've done pretty good with budgeting $400. And so that's $100 a week. And yeah, I think a tank of gas generally takes us about a week to use up, but the issue is that our car takes premium gas, so that's why it's a little bit more expensive. Which next time we're looking for a car, that's definitely something I'll take into consideration in this economy. So pets, $400, that's standard. We have dogs, and we have fish, and we have a lizard. So those are all animals that need to be fed, and $400. I know that seems like kind of a lot, but yeah, we feed our dogs raw food, so it can get expensive sometimes. But it's definitely way better. We definitely see an improvement when they're on that. So what I'm just gonna do for our miscellaneous, I'm just gonna budget the remainder of the money. It comes up to $512.50. So I guess that difference is kind of like our car payment, the $500, now that we won't be having it in the month of March. So that is basically our February recap and our March goals and our March budget. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you. And like this video if you enjoyed it. Yeah, so basically we'll see you next time. Next week, I think I'll be going over my debt update. And so I do have a couple of things to update in that video. And so we'll see you next time. Bye.